Hello everyone. In this assignment, I walk you through a wall takeoff exercise with Bluebeam. We assume we are a subcontractor and have been asked to prepare a bid for a residential project. We have been provided with the construction drawings of the house plan, and we want to perform a detailed quantity takeoff of the walls. We need to adhere to the following instructions. Scale. The first step in quantity takeoff is to ensure the accuracy of the document scale, which involves verifying that the scale of the architectural drawings matches the specified scale indicated on the plans. Categorization. We break down the walls into categories based on their characteristics, such as material, height, and thickness, to ensure precise quantity calculations and material requirements. We categorize the walls because the unit costs vary based on these wall characteristics. For instance, an increase in wall thickness increases its construction cost. Therefore, walls of different thicknesses should be separately quantified. Systematic approach. We perform the takeoff in a systematic manner, clockwise or counterclockwise, to ensure no wall is missed or counted twice. As we count the walls, we mark them up on the plan to keep track of what has been measured. Inclusions and exclusions. We should clearly identify all wall components like openings, doors, and windows, and later exclude these non-wall areas from the quantity takeoff table when necessary. This means that we include doors and windows placed within the walls in the initial takeoff, but we do not include full height floor-to-ceiling openings in the initial takeoff. Later, we exclude the doors and windows. Disregarded openings. We disregard openings smaller than 1 square foot, unless there are many of them, so that their cumulative area significantly impacts the wall material quantities. Dealing with fractions. We use decimals in a quantity takeoff in lieu of fractions for speed, precision, and ease of use with a calculator. We convert dimensions on drawings to their decimal equivalents. For example, 24 feet 6 inches should be converted to 24.5. Calculations. We record the total linear feet of walls in each category. Once we have opened Bluebeam, we go to File menu and click Open, and we browse to open our PDF file. If needed, we can go to View menu and fit the drawing to our working area. In the next step, we ensure that the document is open at the correct scale. By searching through the current document, I can see that the correct scale is specified as 1/4 of an inch equals 1 foot. To match Bluebeam settings to a drawing scale, we should go to Tools menu, click on Measure, and select Set a Scale. Here we have two options. Using the preset scale option, which means we simply find the option that translates 1/4 of an inch to 1 foot. The other way to do this is using the custom option. If using the custom option, we have to type in the correct scale as 1/4 of an inch equals 1 foot. Once this is set, there is another option called Precision. Here you can specify the measurement sensitivity of Bluebeam. By setting the precision to 1/32, you can achieve the highest level of accuracy. Once we are done with these settings, we click Apply Scale. The next step is to measure wall quantities. To do this task, we go to Tools menu, click on Measure, and then select Poly Length. Starting from the top left corner of the building, we click on the midpoint of one end of the exterior concrete wall. We hold the Shift key down, and then we click on the midpoint of the other end of the wall. Once we have reached the endpoint, we hit Enter to finish the command. The next step is to adjust the properties of this markup, including its color, thickness, and some other settings. Once we have created the first markup, we select and right-click on it, select Properties, and then go to the Properties menu to specify its settings. The most important properties are the markup subject and its label. For subject, we can type in exterior wall, and for label, we type in concrete cavity wall. We then specify our preferences for color, opacity, style, caption, font size, and many other options. Now, if we move to the tool chest menu, we can see that the markup we just used has been added to the recent tools panel. Every time we need to create a new exterior concrete wall, we can simply use the recent tools panel. The next step is to measure interior wall quantities. To do this task, we go to Tools menu, click on Measure, and then select Poly Length. Once we have created the first markup, we select and right-click on it, select Properties, and then go to the Properties menu to specify its settings. For Subject, we can type in Interior Wall, and for Label, we type in Drywall. We then specify our preferences for color, opacity, style, caption, font size, and many other options. We can hide the captions for clarity. Here, we set the preferences to ensure we can easily distinguish different wall types by looking at the marked up drawing. For instance, we could choose to use red for exterior concrete cavity walls and use blue for interior drywalls. Now, if we move to the tool chest menu, we can see that the new markup we just added has been added to the recent tools panel. Now, every time we'll need to create a new interior drywall, we can simply call that tool from the recent tools panel. Once we are done with placing markups for major wall types, we should measure the quantities of other wall types, including interior concrete solid walls and interior cavity drywalls. The construction of these wall types is different, and therefore, we should create additional types of markups. We simply need to repeat the same steps as we took before. Before saving the markup sheet, we can open the markups list to check how the various properties of our markups have been recorded. If needed, we can export the markups data into a CSV file and later open the measurements in Excel to create a table of quantities. Organizing the table of quantities is very important, which we will discuss in a separate video. Before closing Bluebeam, do not forget to save your markup sheet to preserve your work.